What's up, guys? Best combo, holiday time and Mass Effect Christmas sweaters. Actually, a lot of you have asked me where I got the sweater. I got it on the BioWare store. So they have a sweater and they have a sweater dress. So yeah, go check it out if you want one. So this is going to be my last information video when it comes to the Gameinformer article on Mass Effect Andromeda, and it's going to be about the vehicles, particularly the Nomad and the Tempest. First, let's talk about the Tempest. I've mentioned a little bit. What the hell was that? Oh, I've seen it a lot more now, and you know, I really like how it looks. The Normandy will always be in a special place in my heart, obviously, but I almost like how the Tempest looks a little bit more just because it reminds me of a bird. And one of the art directors was actually saying this in Gameinformer.com, in one of the videos, in one of the interviews they did, that they kind of wanted to have this like perch feeling when the Tempest was landed like on a cliff. Like it looks like a long beak of a bird, of like a bird of prey, and I just love that. The Normandy had a dome over it, and the Tempest doesn't. The Tempest is very sleek. It's sharp. It looks like it could cut right through something. I love the colors. I've always been a fan of like black and red and white. Is this like an N7 ship? Because it looks like it's got the N7 stripe. But what they were saying was that this ship, it's not a one-of-a-kind ship like the Normandy. The Tempest is actually a scout ship for the Arcs. You're just going to be seeing your Tempest. You're not going to see the other ones, but other ones do exist. So it being a scout ship, the Tempest is more agile, it's smaller, and it's faster. And one of the coolest things that I think I've read, you guys know how much I love Solarians. I love Turians too, but the Solarians are one of my favorite races. I am a Solarian. So to read that we have a Solarian pilot, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I love it. Since the Tempest is smaller, it's easier to explore. It's easier to just walk from place to place. There are no loading elevators. Your crew members they do stick to one spot, so you always know where they are, as they always have. But they're gonna be doing things. They're not gonna move away from that location, but they are gonna be in the vicinity of that location doing different things. So it's a more intimate and confined space, which I think I like. Also, when you land, it's not just like, okay, press A to land and then it goes to a loading screen. Like for the Mass Effect, it was always the Normandy going through the mass relay or something, and you're just waiting there like, it just seamlessly goes into the Tempest actually landing, and you see you coming out of the Tempest. At least it looks a lot cooler. It doesn't just snap you out. At least that's what I'm hoping. And the same with the Nomad. Like if you want to go exploring, the Nomad is in the garage of the Tempest. So you just go over to the Nomad, jump in, and then it shows you coming out of the Tempest and going on into it. No more black screen and you're just like, okay, and then you just appear on the planet. No, like you actually see it happening. You don't pilot a little ship like you did in Mass Effect 3 with the little Normandy that would like, you know, and then all of a sudden you would hear the Reapers in certain areas like scare the crap out of you, or at least it would for me. Or when you were like running out of fuel, you're just like, I'm not gonna make it. And you don't have to fuel the Tempest either, or at least you don't have to like do this in the game. So aside from the garage where the Nomad is, you also have a galley, which is a kitchen. And the weird thing when I read this was it said that that's where your skill changing area was. Like whenever you want to respec your rider, it was in the galley, and I was like, why would it be in the kitchen? But in the article for Gameinformer Online, they went a little bit more in saying that the galley was more of like an atrium. So you could see it's like this big area. It's not just like the kitchen, like on the Normandy. That's what I was imagining. There's obviously the bridge, which you're going to be going to the bridge a lot more than you did in Mass Effect, in the previous Mass Effect. Because the galaxy map is now on the bridge, which is so obvious to me. Like, why wasn't the freaking galaxy map in the bridge? On the Normandy, it was in the middle of the ship. The way that they're saying it's going to be reminds me a lot of Star Wars The Old Republic. When you have your ship on Star Wars The Old Republic, you stand in the cockpit, or at least the smuggler one, the smuggler ship, I don't know about the other one. You stand in the cockpit, and when you go to a specific planet, you see that you're traveling and in hyperspace, and then you arrive at the planet. So you're going to be seeing this type of thing as well. There's windows. You are actually going to see yourself travel. It's not just going to be the galaxy map and then you end up wherever you went. It's not going to be that whole like click this and click that and then you appear, press A to travel, and then you're there. And wherever you are, you're going to see that outside. You're going to see planets, whatever planet you're outside of, or you're going to see ships, you know, if you're like at a space station or something, or the Hyperion. I don't know. That's just like me guessing. But you're going to be able to see what is around you. That's where you could send probes and like points of interest, locate points of interest and stuff like that. I think it's going to make you feel more of like an adventurer, because your character is doing this, and it's not just like something that the player, as you're like, that's how it felt in Mass Effect. It felt like when you would like scan planets and stuff, it was like you were doing it, because it was just a screen of the planet, and it was like almost like it almost felt like a mini game almost, because it was just you. In Mass Effect Andromeda, when you send the probes and all that, I'm wondering if you're gonna see yourself standing there and you're gonna see the planet and you're gonna be sending probes. Like that's gonna be cool. I hope it's gonna be like that. And then with the pilot right there, like, you know, like I hope you could have like banter or like talk with them and stuff. That's so cool. And then there's Solarian. And we also have the Pathfinder Quarters. This is your room, your personal space. We're gonna have some control over the decor of it. Oh, we're gonna have a pet Pyjak. Yay! I wonder if your pet Pyjak is just gonna hang out in your room. That's so cool. The pet Pyjak, for those of you that don't know, comes with the collector's edition and I believe the deluxe edition. And there's no bar on the Tempest. The Nomad. At first I was like, why didn't they just call it the Mako? Everybody calls it the freaking Mako. I think the Mako was more of a military ship than the Nomad. Or not ship, but vehicle. The Nomad is more of like an exploring type of vehicle, which I think the name suits it, Nomad. I'm just glad we're not saying the Hammerhead return, because I hated that thing. The really cool thing about the design of the Nomad is that they brought in vehicle designer Daniel Simon. Aside from other stuff, he designed the Tron Legacy light cycle. One of the interesting ideas that he had, Daniel Simon, was that the Nomad would come out of the top of the Tempest. So instead of coming out from the bottom, which it does now, they said that they weren't able to do this because it was too hard to actually do. That he was like, why don't you have the vehicle come out, the garage be on top? So when like a hatch would open and the Nomad and the Tempest would like go down like that, and the nose would be the ramp, and the Nomad would come down, and I was like, damn, that would have been so cool, man. It would have been really unique to see something like that. So the Nomad is different from the Mako, but it's very similar as well, the way it moves. They do say that the camera is improved, the control of it is improved. I always loved people hate controls of the Mako, but I'm like, man, how could you hate it? Like, it was just so perfect. Like, the little boost would like have you float for a little bit. It's like, psh. You're just like, yeah. And then when you fall off the cliffs, you'd always land on your feet. That was a mini game in itself. Like, see how long it took you to get up the cliff, and then see how long it took you to get down, or see how many freaking twirls you could get, and then land on your feet and be like, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that it didn't have wacky controls. It did, but I thought it was fun. They even got some of the Need for Speed guys to help them with the way that the Nomad is maneuvered and the way that it moves. So it could still boost and it could still jump, but it just doesn't have any cannons. You could upgrade stats like speed, and you could also customize it with paint jobs. So pretty much the purpose of the Nomad is to get from place to place. They were also saying that if you drive in the wrong direction, it could take damage. I'm guessing they're tying environmental type of things to it. Like in Dragon Age Inquisition, I remember, like, instead of just hitting an invisible wall, you'd be walking, like in the Western Approach, you'd be walking and then you would like, there would be like toxic air there and you just start coughing. I think that's kind of the idea with the Nomad. And you have like turn back. So with the Nomad, like maybe in areas, it's like, I don't know, like there's like an acid pool there and you just can't go that way, or the air gets so thick that you can't drive in it or something, so it's like you have to turn around. I think that's what they mean. So if you haven't seen the Nomad figure that is coming with the collector's edition, You can also buy it on its own, but you gotta go check it out. It's on the Mass Effect website. There's a remote controlled one, and there's also the vehicle itself. So that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the Tempest and of the Nomad. Thank you so much for watching, and I should go.